fiction, which is already becoming a reality. How to open the green door to the future, the net profit of a clear country, and it is possible to prevent global warming. Alternative energy sources, unique technologies, and what you never knew existed. Life Science, watch it now.
Placer of picturesque floating islands in the warm waters of the Indian Ocean. Choose any. Palm trees, sun, ocean, and a cozy bungalow with all amenities. We proved the rest on the plastics is the territory of comfort. Diana put off the advertising brochure with a sign of displeasure. Again, the plastic. We have already been there. Enough for me. Mark Nickinson journeyed to the island. Today in the program, flying over the island of plastic bags. Whole garbage islands, for the most part, they consist of plastic. The world in plastic. In Soviet times, the plastic bags were washed and dried on clothespins. Box of absurdity. And then we still put them in one plastic bag, we carry them to the garbage and throw it away. The situation is absurd. And the plastic bag of the second life. Out of what raw materials are further materials obtained, such as films, packing tapes, and synthepon, for example? Caution, uninhabited environment. How to get rid of polyethylene plague and recycling in the art style, the plastic planet. She takes out the plastic bag after a plastic bag. Gallery in the center of Almaty. A small master class, a few more strokes, more precise manipulation with a special gun, and ready. The picture is made not with oil, with polyethylene. She says that good clouds are made of usual plastic bags from the stores. Gives an interesting structure. The third year, Joly Suleimanova has been fascinated by the artistic variety of ordinary plastic bags. Why plastic bags? Because the plastic bags are everywhere. This is a part of our life that we cannot ignore. Each house has a plastic bag with plastic bags. Here is a picture called Public Service Center. This one paints traffic jams, and this, perhaps, is the most unexpected. If you come closer, you can see a message from the artist. The coolest, beautiful plastic bags have our grandmothers that go with them to the stores and keep them for years. Joly does not keep plastic bags, she collects them and then processes them creatively. She says it's a great luck to find something interesting. In the Soviet era, the plastic bags were washed and dried on clothespins and then reused many times. Now, of course, there is no such thing. Now you go to the store, they give you a plastic bag with a lemon, a bag with bread. All this they put in a branded big plastic bag of some supermarket. They are everywhere and seems to last a long time. Plastic bags for food, bags for garbage, plastic bags for toys, plastic bags for TV sets, microwaves, telephones, cars, finally plastic bags for plastic bags. It is unlikely we will be able to integrate all the plastic bags into art. Even the army of artists will not help. Yes, this is the #1 problem, because first of all, I felt this terrible feeling when you are traveling through the steppe on the train, and you see that these plastic bags are flying, rolling. Mixing with dirt, and they do not dissolve in the soil, they remain. plastic is not very biodegradable. According to various assumptions, plastic lives from 100 to 1,000 years. Some artists use plastic as a raw material. Such an alternative solution, of course, will be to not completely get rid of problems with plastic, but it will help people see the waste on the other side. My works will outlive me, at least by principle. History of the invention, once in Germany. German scientist Hans von Pechmann looked into the test tube and saw on its bottom what later became a plastic bag. Accidental opening of 1899. Half a century later, the world began to be packed in polyethylene, and packed very actively. The usual packing was first produced in the USA in 1957, designed for packing sandwiches, bread, vegetables, and fruits. And by 2002, the global production volume of plastic bags reached 5 trillion pieces per year. It is scary. And there are also plastic bottles, plastic packaging, film, and much more. We had a Stone Age, then we had the Iron Age, and the Bronze Age, and now instead of the Golden Age that was to come, we have an age of plastic and plastic waste. Because a very large amount of plastic is produced. Practically all the things we use are made of plastic. For an incredibly short time, only 50 years, plastic started to threaten the world. According to the UN forecast, by 2050, there will be more plastic in the world's oceans than fish. Floating garbage islands already exist, and they're not comfortable at all. Whole garbage islands, for the most part, they consist of plastic, because for centuries it can stay there and not be recycled. We often see TV reports that whales were thrown out, in the intestines of them there was a lot of foreign objects as plastic bags. More than 100,000 whales, seals, turtles, and birds die each year from these plastic bags and other plastic materials. This is the data from the Worldwide Fund for Nature, Tajikistan, near the town of Ujand. The picture that can be seen in many countries. Meanwhile, about 175 million tons of plastic are produced annually in the world, and all of it remains on the surface of the Earth. If we drive away from the city literally for about 15 minutes, we'll see huge dumps, plastic bags everywhere. It is enough for a weak wind for these plastic bags to be blown away for kilometers from the dump. It's really terrible. In Kazakhstan, there are no precise statistics of plastic contamination. There are statistics general and private. We annually accumulate 5-6 million solid household waste. In general, more than 100 million tons of waste have been collected, i.e. accumulated, and a quarter, at least 25 to 30% of it, is plastic waste. I have friends of divers who sometimes dive in Kopchagai. They say that there are areas where the bottom is simply covered with these plastic bags. They just have already infiltrated the silt, and this has to be cleaned up. Sooner or later, we will come to this. A plastic bag is flying, a plastic bag is floating, and at home, there's a plastic bag on the table. Chemists are people who know exactly what the world is made of, and they authoritatively declare that in recent times the world becomes more plastic. At the Polymer Division, our students are engaged in works in which they study plastic processing. Kazakh National University named after Al-Farabi Laboratory. Here we have a device for determining the physical and mechanical characteristics of plastics. We analyze the strength of the material by stretching, compression, etc. And this is all about it, without any embellishment. Plastic is a product of synthetic production. Again, think about it. It is produced from non-renewable resources like oil, coal, and natural gas, meaning on the basis of refined products, such as polyethylene, polystyrene, polypropylene, polyethylene, terephthalate, and of course they are not mainly disposed. Yes, not every plastic is recycled, and it is extremely harmful to burn it. When smoldering in landfills, dozens of carcinogenic substances go into the atmosphere. When plastic burns, it releases dangerous, persistent organic contaminants. These are dioxins and furans. Dioxins and furans, as they are persistent organic contaminants, enter our body and poison us from within. The second life of a plastic bag, well, or a bottle. The direction is correct. Almaty Business Center. We purchase special equipment. This is a plastic crusher, and after collecting plastic, we crush it. Then we also hand over to the contractor organization, which later uses it and processes it. Follow in stages. First, the purchase, of course, is the plastic bag. Having used the contents for the purpose, the bottle and the plastic bag are sent to special containers. They can already be found in some cities of Kazakhstan. We are driving our students to such enterprises. They study fully all the technology of plastic recycling. They dispose plastic, make granules of it, and from the granules produce some things. And then goes a small but extremely unpleasant paradox. There are companies, there is a lot of trash of plastic, but there's nothing to process. Although materials seem to be enough, but it is necessary before it reaches the stage of secondary processing to prepare it. It must be sorted. According to official statistics, about 115 companies are engaged in waste processing. Most of them are engaged in the processing of plastic. Well, and then according to the purpose. A lot of purposes are offered. They started to produce t-shirts of recycled plastic for football players. Plastic is melted and they make thin threads out of it. From these threads, they sew t-shirts for them, and they are very durable. These are such eternal t-shirts which can be constantly processed and produced again. In Holland, for example, they intend to use plastic for paving. They promise that very soon such roads will appear, first as a test and then everywhere if, of course, will be tested for environmental safety. This is a pure plastic bag of spunbond. Yes, it sounds completely not eco-friendly, but nevertheless, eco-plastic bags are being made here. This is a non-woven material made of polypropylene. It is a polymer that is made of such a way that it decomposes in a natural environment. Plastic can be harmless, Dmitry says. Well, or relatively harmless. Yes. Why is it called a non-woven fabric? Because they don't weave it. This microfiber is similar to the syntypon. Their spinneret method is when the hot air flow distributes it evenly. And then they are thermally fastened, and it is a kind of imitation of a fabric. This bond is not durable. Let's say that the plastic bags get to a landfill under the influence of ultraviolet radiation first of all, as well as wind, water, frost. This material crumbles. The period of disintegration is very short. Again, depends on the density of the material. But for 5 years, it will absolutely disappear without a residue of any harmful substance. It will be pure carbon and water. It does not rustle when I get food from the refrigerator. Nice to touch, you don't want to throw it out. If it comes dirty, you can wash it, as in the distant Soviet past. Many, Dmitry says, do so. And our plastic bags can withstand 2 or 3 washes. Reusable use is the main idea of the ecological compatibility of this plastic bag. The disadvantage is the cost of eco-plastic bags. It is 20% higher than the usual ones. For manufacturers and buyers, the difference is not small. And rustling, plastic, cheap, dangerous ones continues its flight around the world. However, they already put obstacles in its way. We hope that in a year or 2 our country will also start taking some steps in this direction. The country is making the right steps. This is not only the production of eco-plastic bags in the Republic. They produce paper bags from corn, Almaty, Astana, Usk-Kamenogorsk, Shymkent. Of course, this is not enough, but still. Laboratory device, chemical reaction. This device is synthesized aniline formaldehyde resin. Experiments to find new, environmentally friendly materials. They are doing work to obtain biodegradable polymer film materials. Here, for example, plastic of a new generation, based on starch, biodegradable. Students make it. Well, until it is received in industrial scales, can one begin with itself and look at the usual plastic bag from a different angle. Even a worldview, but just change the habits of people. Let's say that in almost every family there is an absurd box. I call it that way, a box that we open, and it is packed with plastic bags. We store it, we put it, then we realize that there are too many of them. And then we still put them in one plastic bag, we carry them to the trash can and throw it away. The situation is absurd. It should not be like that. How to get rid of the absurd? World experience. In Germany, the customers themselves take care of the plastic bag's disposal, and the sellers are responsible for the collection and recycling. Similar laws are also in Austria and in England and some other countries. Well, and to think, just numbers. 1 million plastic bags are used in the world every minute, which means that while you watch this program, another 20 million appeared, undecomposable. and it is quite possible that those same islands, to rest on garbage already in 50 years, will not be considered fiction.